Winter is upon us now, and one of the things I like to do during the winter time is tie flies for fly fishing. So I've been thinking about that a lot over the past few weeks. One of my subscribers that goes by the name of Chippish Churnish asked if I could show my fly tying setup and maybe some of the gear I use. So I thought that might make an interesting video, and I'll show you some of the stuff I use when I tie flies and a little bit of my fly fishing gear. It's nothing real high-end or all that impressive, but I'll show you what I use anyways. So this table, I do a lot of my videos right here at this table. When I do fly tying videos, I do it right here because the lighting's better. But my fly tying table is actually over there in the corner, and I'll show you how I have it set up. Alright, so I just have this little table right here. And most of my materials I just keep in these little drawers. You can get these at Walmart. Sterilite makes them. And they're cheap and they're stackable and they're pretty handy, and it's kind of I don't have like a real system of organizing these yet, but like down here that's a lot of my different types of bucktail that I have, and there's like a few other things, but it's mostly bucktail in there. In this drawer I have a couple of capes, a few different capes in there, some feathers. Probably the grizzly hackle, I probably use that more than anything else out of that drawer. And up here is a lot of saddle hackle, rooster hackle, all in different bags. Most of it in bags anyway. And in these little drawers, like that, I have like dubbing fur in there. There's peacock curl and some zonker strips. That's got like 3 bags of neck hackle in there. Mallard flank, duck and turkey quills. These drawers have different types of chenille. That's rayon. That's ultra chenille. Some yarn. There's like a ice chenille, desert chenille type of stuff, and there's silver pheasant crest down there, and I think that's guinea hen, that spotted stuff. I can't remember for sure. And different types of marabou. And just some crystal flash and some other random stuff. And there I have rubber legs, eyes, foam popper heads, spider bodies for foam flies. And here is just a bunch of different flat foam for making foam bodies. It's not truly organized, and some of the drawers are actually a little too small. If I had maybe some more like that, it would be a little bit better. And then I just have that little basket up there with different types of feathers in it. This old wooden cigar box, I use it, put a lot of spools in there. Thread, floss, wire, tinsel, things like that. It's a pretty handy little box. And these are old recipe boxes actually, and I got bags of hooks in there. And there's like little tins that I put some of the hooks into. And this one has some of my tools in it and head cement. I just use stuff that I find to store my stuff. And right next to the table here I have just some other random fly fishing, fly tying stuff. It's a reel case. This is actually, I think, for jewelry making or something like that, but I put different bead heads in there and cone heads. It's pretty handy for that. And I just got these little boxes here for flies. And tins. I don't think I have anything in those now. I used it for some stuff, but I'm not using it right now for anything. This is actually just a first aid box. I took air conditioner foam filters that you can get pretty cheap at the hardware store and just glued it inside. And all this is just a big mess of random flies, extra flies that I have. Some of them I tied Some of them I bought. It's just extra patterns I messed around with. It's like an old streamer wallet, whatever you call it. I haven't used that in a while. It's made out of waxed canvas. It's kind of a nice thing, but I don't use it much. There's some yarn. It's not like the same exact quality as like from a fly tying shop, and honestly I thought I'd use it more, and I don't really use it all that much. Well, there's a few flies I do like to use yarn on, and that stuff works okay. And the price of like a big roll like that is probably about the same price as a little packet that you get at the fly tying shop, but it's more than I'll ever need, that's for sure. And down here I got a bunch of post fly boxes. I subscribe to them. I usually do the fly tying box, and what I do is I just keep the materials right in those boxes in case I want to tie it up again. I just grab the box and everything's right in there. Sometimes I tie up feather wing streamers. They're the long flies used for trolling. And sometimes I'll pre-glue those together. Sometimes you get ones that are really curved. So if you use the steam function on an iron, you can actually straighten them out pretty well. Because if you use curved ones on those type of flies, it just doesn't work. It takes a little time, but the little extra effort is worth it. I'm back over at the table now. This is the vise that I use. It's very much like a Regal vise. It's like it has like spring-loaded jaws, which I really like, but it's just a cheap knockoff called, I think the company is called Terra that makes it. I think that's what it said on the box. It comes with a table clamp, and the base down there you can purchase separately. And I actually had to cut off, I think about 3 or 4 inches off the stem because it was just like way too high up, and you had it in the base, and it would make it top heavy almost. So that works pretty good right there. I don't know how much exactly I cut off, but I know from here to inside there it's about 5.5 inches. I can't remember how much the overall length was. As far as fly boxes go, I have this big one right here. Worldwide Sportsman. It's a Bass Pro Shop brand. This is what I put a lot of my bass flies in. It's a pretty nice box. It has about the same footprint as a Plano 3600 box, in case you need to stick it into a tackle bag or something. I have another one that I use for the larger trolling flies, which I think it works pretty well for that. I have this old Plano fly box. And what I do with this is I just keep it in my truck, usually at all times during the summer. Just a few patterns that I like to use. Usually if you're into fly fishing, you end up accumulating a lot of different boxes. This is kind of like my trout box, and I got just a large variety of different types of flies in there. The ones that work the most for me. I don't have anything separated by dry or wet or anything. I just grab whatever I want and I stick it in there and go. It's a nice small one. It'll fit right in your pocket nice, and chest pack, it'll fit right in there too. That's what I use for a chest pack. It's an LL Bean, and I've had it for a few years and I like it. It works pretty good, and it's got a big pocket in there, so even if you have a larger fly box, it'll fit in there pretty well. And it's got another little compartment in there. You can put your license and floatant and other things like that. It has 2 zingers on the front. I usually put line cutters and pliers on there. That's actually one of the pliers I use right there. And then you can put tippet material in here, and you can come right out those little slots. One of the zippers, I put a leader straightener on there. And the back has a loop for the net, which I have a magnetic release on the net. which if you don't have a magnetic release, you should get one, because I don't know why. I've had it for a while now, but I don't know how I ever got by without it. It just makes it so much more convenient just to stick it behind you. And this right here is just a little reel case. I just have one of the reel, that's my 8-weight reel. I get some line dressing. And there I got like a knot tool and some tippet material and a couple leaders. I have this pick in here I just use for making nail knots. Comes in pretty handy. I got a couple other fly boxes there, like when I'm tying flies, it's just something to stick my flies in while they're drying and stuff. As far as what I use for like fly fishing, I don't have anything real high end. This is my 5-weight setup. It's made by White River Dogwood Canyon, which is a Bass Pro brand. And it's an 8.5 foot 5-weight. I haven't had any problems with it. It's nice for streams and small ponds. I use Rio Trout Gold for fly line. It's a 5-weight line, which I'm pretty happy with. I also have an 8-weight rod that I use for bass fishing, and I was really hoping to do some bass fishing videos this year on the fly rod, but I don't know what happened to my fly rod, but I can't cast that thing anywhere anymore. I used to be able to cast it pretty far, and I noticed one of the evenings when I was looking it over, the tip of it, like the guide on it was almost bent right down flat, and I thought maybe that's what it was, so I bent it up. Still wasn't working right, and the tip itself doesn't look right. It's not this one, but, and so I think it just got damaged somehow. It was just a cheap little $40 rod anyway, so hopefully next year I'll get another one that will work a little better. And this right here, this is actually just a cheap rod that I paid 20 bucks for, and I use it just for trolling. It's just an 8-foot rod, and believe it or not, it is actually an 8-piece rod, and it fits all right inside there, which I don't do. I usually just pull it apart halfway through and call it good. And I got these for trolling, which is a something I'm just learning to do, and I'll show you the general idea of it. Usually we do it here in Maine in the spring or fall, and you can just use floating fly line, and then you add on a leader, like maybe 8 or 10 feet of 8-pound mono, and then you add a little barrel swivel like that, and you add on like another 4 or 5 feet of 6-pound. And what you do is you just let it out, let the line out. I don't know how much. I'm still learning exactly how much I should let out. Half a spool seems to be common when you troll. You control anything, but you control like these longer streamers, tandem streamers. And then I have another one, same idea of the rod, only I have sinking fly line on it, and I usually use fluorocarbon if I want to get it down a little deeper. Some of the fly gear I use, some of the fly fishing stuff I use, it's nothing real spectacular or high end. I just thought I'd share it with you in case some of you guys wanted to know. Hopefully next year I'll have a better 8-weight rod for bass fishing, because it is a lot of fun catching those on the fly rod. I was really hoping to do some videos of it this year, but I wasn't able to. So hopefully next year. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Until next time. With just a handful of bass flies in it, just in case I forget my stuff. I can open the thing.